Hey guys, welcome back to Metroid Other M. In this part, ice world with no ice physics.
Wait, was that? I'm sorry. Was that a joke? I'm not trying to.
Oh no,
I'm just not sure.
Actually, it is quite the opposite of funny. Because it's an like we're entering the ice world, like the ice level, but there's no. There's no ice physics.
It's all set dressing. It really all is.
It's all cosmetic.
Yeah,
and
weird.
That's just so awkward because
you don't freeze stuff.
Well, we have the. I mean, things can freeze you, but like, there's a lot of ice in this level, but there's no like ice physics. And I mean, for people who don't like that sort of thing, ice physics in video games, then great. But it's just so weird because most of the other levels here have at least some gimmick dealing with the environment, like the lava. Portion of the spaceship, like it'll burn you, but here there's not much.
You know, back when I first played this, I was just totally expecting for there to be like some sort of stupid thing that Samus didn't enable just to make the ice level harder, and no, it's ice.
Yeah, it's just it's purely cosmetic. Everything in this part of the game is basically things that we've seen before, which is a shame.
Are there at least like, are there some like ice enemies? I see like those guys look kind of icy. They're ice-ish.
They're ice enemies, but they don't really mean anything.
No, their projectiles are really sharp icicles that are being fired at you, but it's no different from, the projectiles that the forest version counterparts of these guys fired at you in the forest area.
Mm-hmm. So would you guys have preferred like a level where you slide a little more or something like that?
I would have just preferred a level where, the environments actually matter, because the environments are like the stars of the Metroid series. Like that's what a lot of people play the Metroid series for, because it has these stellar environments, and every environment has like this unique way of traversing it or interacting with it. And like, no, here it's just like, oh, it's ice. And I mean, I despise the lava level for putting us through, oh, you had the various suit all along. You could have just activated that, whatever. But I mean, at least, it had something changed when you were in that level. Like, not really here.
For argument's sake, Jordan, in Metroid Prime, I remember there were like ice, there was an ice section, but did they make use of ice physics? Because we're in the first person view in that game, I actually can't recall.
Yeah, that seems like that would be a recipe for disaster.
I actually think, well, I could be totally wrong, 'cause it's been a while since I played Prime, and honestly, I feel like I haven't played that game enough. I think they did do some sort of ice physics, but I mean, it wasn't monumental, but at the same time, like, you can tell, like, the ice did drastically change sort of just the geometry and how you traversed some of the levels. And I mean, like, also, like, some of the enemies were hidden under the snow. So it's just like, you're just walking around and suddenly, oh, this thing. And a lot of the enemies were unique. Here, just like, oh, here's ice versions of like the same things you've been killing for like the past few hours.
Yeah, again, just purely aesthetics.
Will, can you walk us through what's going on in this like, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a puzzle, but it seems like you have to do some maneuvering. Or you had to. I guess we're done with it now, but
Yeah, that was a very slow, not even platforming section of the game, but we were literally just trying to get to that monitor.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's the deal? You have to freeze the fans, and then if you don't freeze the fans, enemies come out? That seems like that's what's going on?
The enemy's hive is just behind that. Was just behind that fan, so you need to take it out. And actually, I was having my ass handed to me there for a second because I neglected to do that. I thought I could just hit them on the way, but apparently you can't. You have to be right in front of the fan and kill them from point blank range.
It's nice that all your missiles seem to always make this perfect morph ball shaped crater in everything.
I mean, come on. You can't hold that against this game specifically.
I know, but I mean, like, it's just funny because there's several parts in this game where just like, oh, shoot this missile and this makes this perfectly morph ball crater.
So what you're saying is this game should have had like red faction physics in it.
What I'm saying is
Red
that this
Faction?
game shouldn't exist, but
It's a video game. It's a video game. All highways aren't constructed with loop-de-loops in mind.
Well, have you played? Yeah, have you guys played Red Faction at all ever?
no.
I've seen it played.
So
but
those
that's
games
the
have the
extent.
system. I mean, the big like selling point in those games is that the physics is like actually. I don't know exactly what the phrase is for it, but they're actually like destruct. Like if you shoot a rocket into a pillar, that pillar will like chunk apart in a way that and you can do that to like any terrain in that game. Like it's just sort of like all destructible, and so a lot of the puzzles in especially like Red Faction 2 is stuff where it's like you're sort of cutting your own path through a lot of these levels by like strategically blowing stuff up. It's pretty cool.
I don't think this was a wise idea, Samus.
Yeah, I mean, what? I mean, in game, what gives her that idea to?
I know. And, like, I don't see why she couldn't have just like shot more missiles at it, because that seemed to be working well for her the first time.
She hasn't blown up a planet in over an hour. She's getting antsy.
That's actually that's probably true.
Yeah, that's. I'm trying to think of a game where she didn't end up blowing up a planet.
Well, blowing up she either blows up a planet or blows up a spaceship.
She blows up whatever she happens to be on that day.
You know, it's not her
Well-
fault.
well,
So
actually-
you got to blow it up. You got to do it. There's bad guys on it.
There are
Gotta
some
get blown
days you
up.
just gotta blow up a planet.
Question though, did she blow up anything in Prime?
I don't think she blew up Talon 4.
Not Prime. Prime Hunters.
Oh,
Did Prime Hunters have a campaign?
Yeah,
I thought Prime
Prime-
Hunters was also
That was the
mostly.
main feature of the game.
I liked Prime Hunters. I know that game gets a bad rap, but
I
man.
agree. Like the only thing I can say that's bad about it, I've already said this before, is that they hacked the multiplayer and then it became unplayable.
What do you mean? What did they do to it?
Did I not? Question: did I explain this in?
I don't think you did
I
yet.
don't think we've mentioned Metroid Prime Hunters at all.
Okay, because I think I might have explained this to one of my friends a while back. Basically, what happened was Prime Hunters had like this really fun. The DS game had like a really fun multiplayer mode where you could play as like different hunters, like including Samus, and just go into like deathmatch, and it was actually really fun. The problem was that at some point, because the DS was stupidly easy to hack, people hacked it, so they basically had like one-shot kills, infinite health, invisibility, walk through walls, and they would never. You could not beat them unless.
And this was like through like this was not using like a flash card. Like this was like using the actual game, not like what I mean is this would affect owners of the legit game.
Yeah, because I had the legit game, right?
That sucks.
And
Yeah.
then suddenly, like, I don't know how they did it, and I looked up I looked up like how, but I don't really know how. And yeah, so basically, if you just went online after a while, you couldn't do anything because everybody would kill you in one hit, and if you could shoot somebody to like 1,000 times, they just would not die.
That's too bad.
Also, they can shoot you through walls.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it ruined the entire online multiplayer.
That sucks.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, I mean that was Nintendo used to be pretty bad in terms of online security kind of stuff until the 3DS really. Like
Yeah.
they never really figured that out. They still
Right.
kind of haven't figured it out, but at least security wise they certainly have.
So they finally authorized Samus to go fast.
See, I don't get why that was ever not authorized in the first place. Like that's
Well, I mean, you have at this point you have to accept you're playing a game where you are not authorized to use the armor feature that saves your life.
oh god, Samus, I forgot you're authorized to breathe. Oh, no, it's too late. It's too late.
God.
Speaking of hacking games, and I feel like I need some venue to talk about this. Have you ever heard of a thing called Butterknifing?
Butterknifing? No, what's this?
So I had a friend in elementary school who was really into Halo, and
Go fast.
I think this effect is pretty cool actually. I think it like looks
yeah,
pretty good.
and
anyways,
yeah, screw that wall. Sorry, Dan, go on. Yeah.
but yeah, so and there was a thing when you got really into Halo. This was Halo 2, so like lots of online playing and this sort of thing, and there's a thing you could do where you would only want to play on certain levels. And so if you wanted to do that, the solution was, while the game is loading the maps for you to play in multiplayer, or like while it's selecting a map, you stick a knife in your Xbox's drive, like disk drive.
What?
And that stops the disk from being able to access certain levels, so that it will only pick the levels that one of the 3 levels that most people wanted.
Really?
And I guess this was some commonly accepted technique.
So many Xboxes must have been destroyed during that time.
Maybe.
Like,
I've never heard of that.
Butterknifing,
No,
you
know what?
literally stab your Xbox.
I've witnessed this happen, and I've never heard of it since that point. So if anyone watches this video and wants to comment on if they've ever butterknifed their Xbox, I would really like to know.
Oh, so we're not responsible for any broken Xboxes, my God.
Oh no! I mean, listen, that's an OG Xbox, so it's like no one's using them anyways.
I remember the OG Xbox. I never owned one, but like I never could get that controller. Oh my God, it was way too big.
Well, no, so in the later versions of the Xbox, they put out a more reasonably sized controller.
Yeah, but I remember playing like my cousin's Xbox, and we were playing like games like Mad Dash and shit, and I'm just like, my hand just did not work. And looking back, I'm just like, how the hell did an interface designer get away with this?
Yeah, I mean, I remember all the preview materials for before the Xbox came out. There were all these parties where like Shaquille O'Neal was at them, and it was like, well, Shaq thinks this controller is incredibly comfortable.
Okay, this is a bit like going off a tangent, but like, do you guys know of Shaq's recent video games?
I didn't know he was still making.
I mean, I know about his terrible attempt to try to bring back Shaq Fu, which was a game that I used to own on Sega Genesis, by the way.
Okay, so I have to share this because it should be widely known. So basically, Shaq made a video game for like tablets and phones.
It's that Shaq Fu game, right?
No. It's not Shaq Fu. It's Shackdown.
Shackdown. Hold on, I'm looking this up.
This is a mobile game. It is a endless runner.
Yep.
And basically, what the story is that a long time ago there were zombies, and the people thought the zombies would die out on their own. Instead, they became sentient and enslaved humanity. So people had heard of a person who had defeated the zombies all by himself. They called him the Justice Bringer, but we know him as Shaq. And so you have to go through each level fighting bosses and zombies as Shaq running and he's either shoulder checking, throwing basketballs at zombies, or fucking using Kamehamehas.
I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of don't like when celebrities get in on the like, look at this ironically dumb thing I'm making. It's like when Bear Grylls makes jokes about drinking his own piss. It's like, I find that just kind of lame. Like, kind of like, oh, dude, don't play into it.
Shackdown's got a 4.5 rating on the iOS store.
It actually isn't that bad a game. I have to say, it's not the best game ever, but it is good for what it is, and it's fucking hilarious. But like, it is a fun game. I keep it on my phone just as a joke to show people, but it's a really funny game.
I think celebrities endorsing these crazy sort of things are always going to be... I mean, I don't know what sort of involvement Shaq had outside of his personality being attached to the game. But, like, it's been happening ever since the days of Mr. T. And that guy's endorsed some really odd stuff. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video of him doing the infomercial for that, like, it's like some kind of grill.
Oh, wait, is that the one that, the grill that can, like, cook something in, like, 3 minutes or something and totally
listen,
should
every
not be a
grill
thing?
on an infomercial can cook something in 3 minutes.
That's...
Surprise,
you're not wrong.
tentacle monster.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I don't know where this is going.
Yeah.
But,
and that's why
Jordan.
we're ending this now.
But yeah, if anybody's watching, just go on your little app, go on the App Store and just search up Shackdown. You will not be disappointed.
Let me tell you about the best Shaquille O'Neal product. It's called Shaq Versus. Have you guys watched Shaq Versus ever?
No.
Shaq Versus is fantastic. It only lasted for I think a season. It's a TV show where Shaquille O'Neal finds like the best person at any given sport and then tries to compete with them in it.
Really?
He always has like a really severe handicap because obviously there's an episode, for example, where he has swim races with Michael Phelps. And obviously Shaquille O'Neal's body type is not really conducive to beating Michael Phelps in a race, but if you give Michael Phelps a handicap, Shaq does okay. It's pretty good actually. Like that's a good thing.
I find it funny that we're playing a Metroid game with Samus, and now we're talking about Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, sorry, I actually got flashbacks of Michael Jordan playing baseball and then golf in Space Jam.
Hey, come on and slam.
Are we still getting a Space Jam sequel?
Nobody knows. I know
No one
that.
knows. Yeah, it was planned with the rumor was with LeBron James,
right,
in the Michael Jordan role. I don't think it would work. The main reason I don't think it would work is that like I feel like we don't live in a time where there are like athletes that are big deals in that way. Like, like I know who LeBron James is, but like as someone who watches sports, when I was a kid, I still thought Michael Jordan was like a pretty cool guy. It turns out Michael Jordan is actually kind of a dick. But I thought, even though I didn't really care about sports, I still thought Michael Jordan was cool. Like I still knew who Wayne Gretzky was and like all of his sorts of stuff. And like I don't think a universal athlete like that really exists right now. So I kind of feel like it doesn't
John
work
Cena.
on that level. And also it doesn't work because Space Jam is... I love Space Jam.
It's a
but,
product
like,
of its
I just
time,
have
though.
no desire to see another one. Like, I don't...
Well,
who needs that? Nobody.
Apparently, there's actually a gallery next month in Toronto called the Space Jam Exhibition. No relation to Space Jam, but I just thought it was hilarious, and I'm going for that. Just that one reason that is called the Space Jam Exhibition.
I believe at TIFF this year, they are also doing a live Space Jam reading
of Space Jam.
Which I will not be going to.
I'm debating going that just because of Space Jam. And I mean that's more related to Metroid because it's in space.
And we're back.